Welcome to today's episode of the Popdown Podcast. My name is Shamar, and we're joined today by Kay. And we're going to talk about Ghost in the Shell that debuted last week.
Yeah, the American remake? Can you call it a remake?
Redux, I would more call it. But yes, the American remake of the very famous and very influential Japanese animation / manga of the same title.
Yeah.
That came out in 1995, I believe.
Yeah, 1995.
There we go. We're going to talk about it today. So, what do you want to start with?
Well, since you've seen the original and I haven't, you can talk about what's the same and what's different.
Okay. Well, I'll just start with the basics first. This movie is very much an amalgamation of the manga, the first movie, and the second movie, which was standalone complex, or was that the manga? Was that the anime? I think that was the anime. Right. So it's an amalgamation between the first movie, standalone complex, and the manga. And, well, in my opinion, it didn't get anything right coming from the manga, or the movie, or the anime. They focused a lot on what Scarlett Johansson's character, the Major, was thinking, feeling about her past, rather than her team, rather than basically what Ghost in the Shell was about in the beginning, which was questioning reality, cyber warfare, what does it mean to be human, hacking, and the list pretty much goes on.
I kind of feel like they didn't really build up her. I mean, you know that's what her character's arc is, that like she's wondering about her identity and who she is and all that, but I kind of feel like they just did it at like a very surface level, that they didn't really present it or flesh it out that well.
Well, that is actually pretty accurate, because here's the thing, right? Ghost in the Shell for the Japanese is like what Inception was to the worldwide audience. Meaning, sure, you could enjoy Inception on the action level. You could enjoy Inception on the score level, because the score was pretty fantastic. You could enjoy Inception on the visual level, because once again the visuals were fantastic. However, if you wanted to think about what was actually happening in Inception, if you wanted to do fan theories or just dive deeper into the storyline, then you had a lot to deal with. So you had a lot that you could have fun with and theorize and all sorts of stuff. The same with the original Ghost in the Shell. You could have seen it on a normal level, enjoy it, and go back home. Or you could have analyzed the film in its entirety and enjoy it even more. This movie, however, is what I would say bland. What you see is what you get. There's no guesswork, there is no theorizing. Everything that happened on screen, you can't go deeper into it because there's nothing else there.
I heard that the original 1995 film is kind of boring, actually, which is just something I've only heard recently since this film came out, because from what I've heard about the original film over the years, is that is really good. It's only like recently that I've heard people say that it's kind of boring and long. So I think the kind of, just based on what I've heard, like the kind of person who will just watch it and observe it and enjoy it on the surface level, I wouldn't really be interested in delving into the themes and the philosophy and all that's in it, would actually enjoy it.
Well, the thing is, the original, I know a lot of people were saying that the original is, well, it's not a lot of people actually, just a few people were saying the original is boring, but I feel that they are to blame for that belief, because if you just watch Ghost in the Shell, the original, without knowing anything about it, you just watched it, you would enjoy it. However, if people tell you this is an amazing movie, this is amazing animation, the visuals are everything are on point, and then you go and watch it, then you're like, it's not that special. because there's a lot of visual storytelling in the original Ghost in the Shell. There are like segments where it's like 5 to like 7 minutes long, where there's no talking. All the story is being told through what is happening on screen, what the characters are doing. So there's no talking. If you don't like that sort of thing, it will be boring. I will understand why it will be boring. But this movie that just came out, starring Scarlett Johansson as a Japanese robot, is boring. The action scenes are okay. I won't say they were fantastic. They're okay. But if you were supposed to take away the action scenes, what happens in this movie? First and first, her team had like 1.5 scenes in this entire movie. Mind you, this movie is pretty short in of itself. I know you thought that it was longer?
I was expecting the film to be a lot longer than it was. I thought it would be like 2.5, closer to 3 hours long, just based on the reputation of the original and like how deep and thematic it is. So like for the film to be able to explore something like that, like an adaptation, remake, whatever you want to call it, to be able to delve into something like that, I was expecting a longer film, but this wasn't even 2 hours, and it just kind of like went by super quickly. I was surprised by the time that they got to when she met Kuze. I thought we were only like half an hour into the film, but we weren't. That was like an hour into it or something like that.
Well, okay, let's mention who the director is. Rupert Sanders.
That one guy, I believe, if I'm remembering his name correctly, that one guy that Kristen Stewart cheated on Robert Pattinson with.
Yes, well, that's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Right, his previous work is Snow White and the Huntsman, I believe.
Man.
And then before that, it was being music videos. So this guy is visual, which I can say that was the strongest part of this whole movie. The visuals. The visuals were weird. They were beautiful. The visuals were what they needed to be for this movie, because the original Ghost in the Shell, the visuals were also very much on point. However, this guy is not known for story. This guy is not known for caring about story, and it pretty much showed in this movie, because the story was so simple, and we have seen this many times before. The person believing that there's something, find out there's something different, something from their past comes back to let them know what's up, and they're fighting for their quote-unquote identity. We have seen this too many times before, and I feel this movie doesn't do enough to stand out from what I would call the pool of movies that follow this same trope. That's my belief. Well, okay, let's talk about the characters.
Well, before we get there, like it's
what?
Like when I think of, like, it does have a simple story.
Very simple.
But then when I think about how simple this story is, and it kind of just doesn't work. Maybe it just doesn't work for me because of like my expectations of it, because of the reputation of the original and what I'd heard about it. But when I think about how simple this story is, and it kind of just doesn't work in terms of like its development, and then I think about Mad Max Fury Road, which has a very simple story also,
yes,
but it works so well.
Yes, because Mad Max knew exactly what it was. The story was supposed to be simple, but it's so full of action and suspense, which it was.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the storytelling in Mad Max Fury Road is like in the production design and in the action itself, like what the characters do and what is going on tells the story, rather than someone stopping and, you know, giving a whole expository like monologue,
which happened at the very beginning of this movie, by the way.
Yes,
before we saw anything, we had the opening credits where it basically told us what we needed to know. And I will be quite honest, when I saw that, I knew this movie would not have like a deep storyline, because if they had to explain that in the first 5 minutes, basically the whole background to Ghost in the Shell, it is clear that it wasn't going to be that deep of a storyline, to be quite honest.
They don't do that in the original?
No. In the original, we jump straight to action scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could say for this one, you jump straight to an action scene also, but because it does, it doesn't open with the scene at the geisha house it starts with her body getting made. But
Exactly.
that is pretty much, that was like, well, considering how fast paced this movie is, I would have said that was like in the first 10 minutes of the movie, but it's probably like in the first 5 or something.
Exactly.
But yeah, like very, very, very early into the movie is where you get its high point, and it doesn't go up from there. When you think of Freytag's triangle of dramatic structure of like beginning, middle, end, from inciting incident to rising action to climax to resolution, you know, it's supposed to go, like, when you start with the inciting incident, the thing in the narrative, in the plot that gets all of the rest of the action of the story started, it's supposed to rise. That's what it's called, rising action, until it like culminates into the climax, which is like the highest point, and it goes back down for the resolution. Like, this film story and plot structure, in terms of like feeling, in terms of
Nothing rose.
Nothing rose. It was like a straight line. It doesn't go up at all.
Exactly, which is why I say that when we sucked. But anyway, we're gonna talk about the characters before we get into spoilers, because I have a bone to pick with whoever thought this was a good idea. Let's start with the main one. Scarlett Johansson as Zimija. What do you think of her?
I didn't think she did a bad job. I think given what, well, I can't say, well, yeah, what the character was in this film, I can't speak for what the character was in the original, but what the character was in this film, she's supposed to be kind of detached and unfeeling. Not that I think that she's an unfeeling character. I think she purposely tries to manage her emotions so she's like emotionless, but she actually kind of just that's kind of like a facade. But like, given how the character was, I think her performance and her delivery was like on point. I think she did a really good job with the acting.
Okay, for me personally, she was fine. But usually whenever I say someone else, anyone could have played that role, I would say that person didn't do a particularly good job. Not dissing Scarlett or anything. I think she's great in other movies that she does. But for me, this role, like, she didn't, for me, make it her own. It didn't felt like, you know, she herself was pushing the character in this movie. And it didn't help with what they give her in the script, because the script was pretty weak when it came to her, and especially like Section 9's characters. They had nothing to do in this movie. They were there, they came in like in the first 10 minutes, talked a lot of stuff in front of a hologram, left, never came back. Well, they came back, but like before the closing credits, like literally just before the closing credits. And that is, I think that's one of my main gripes of this movie, is that this movie didn't push the brand Ghost in the Shell. Like, okay, for example,
no one expected this film to come even close to matching the quality.
Well, I know
the original.
We never believed,
or to push the franchise in like a new
never
direction.
believed that. But the way how they defended this movie from the very start, saying this is not what you're watching, we're just doing this to bring it to a Western audience, all that jazz, I felt they would have made a greater effort to at least, you know, make it so that the Western audience can understand why us who like Japanese and Korean and stuff, animation, why we love this series so much. It's franchise, right? Why we are attached to Ghost in the Shell. The same way, okay, for example, the same way how some of us are attached to Batman. We know Batman's lore, we get why Batman is Batman. If the Japanese did Batman, we would hope that they won't copy every single thing, but I say we get the essence of what Batman is, what his lore is, and move on from there, right? That's what we would expect. This movie, however, was bland, and it had characters that I personally did not care about.
I didn't care about any characters.
There was
either.
one single character I cared about, and that was Scarlett's, the Major's mother, her original mother. Yeah. She was cool.
She's the only character that made any kind of impact at all, and she was barely in the movie.
It's like she was barely in the movie, but she was cool. I get why she was the way she was, because of how her daughter disappeared under these strange circumstances. I get that character. Everyone else was pretty meh. The whitewashing, however, was a bit worse than I thought it would be. It wasn't the typical whitewashing where...
Well, before we get there, because that's going into spoiler territory.
Well, that's true.
With the Major and Kuze, fine. They're cybernetic beings. They don't have a race per se, at least physically speaking, like, you know. But my thing is, if you're gonna make the argument as like the filmmakers, if you're gonna make the argument, you know, that it's not whitewashing and you're bringing this to a Western audience or whatever, then why do you have white characters and black characters with Asian names? I mean, like with Edge of Tomorrow, because that was an adaptation of All You Need Is Kill, which is a Japanese light novel and manga.
Which is awesome.
They changed the characters' race and they changed their names to fit their race.
Exactly.
But in this, they didn't, which just strikes me as
and
odd.
Not only that, the section chief himself, who was Japanese, who spoke Japanese, everyone replied to him in English.
Yeah, that was weird
Why?
to me also. Like, he was speaking to them in Japanese and they could understand Japanese and they were responding to him in English and he could understand English.
Right,
Not to
so
say that it's like unreasonable that they would speak to each other in different languages and be able to understand each other, but like, it's just a little strange. And like, if you want to make the argument that, you know, this is the future and, you know, globalization and people well, we don't even know where this film is set actually, but like people migrating to different countries, so and like interracial relationships and mixed babies and whatever, so these people are probably like mixed race or something. Okay, fine, that's a valid argument, but the narrative at no point points out that these not Asian people with very Japanese names are mixed race. Like, if like thinking of developing a story of film and your characters in this film, they're if they're mixed race heritage, if they are mixed race at all, is part of their identity as a character, then the narrative should point that out, because people watching it aren't, well, I don't know if people actually notice any of that or actually care about that, but people watching it are going to be confused, like, huh? This person has an Asian name, but they don't look Asian. Like, why is that? And I feel like no point in the narrative explains why that is and gives, like, you know, a reasonable explanation for that. It's just, it's like dissonant.
I think what they should have done, but a lot of things they should have done different. But what they should have done is, like, they could have based this in America, based the team in America, switch out the Major for someone else, and just make it something else. Make it Ghost in the Shell based in America.
Call Battle Bob or something. What is this white man with an Asian?
No one would have cared, and everyone would be interested to see the American angle.
Why are there black characters with Asian names? I think there's like a black guy named Ishikawa or something
who spoke fluent English.
I don't mind them speaking English.
I did.
I really don't. I just find it weird. These are non-Asian people with Asian names.
It was dumb.
But anyway, now we can go into spoiler territory.
Good, spoiler territory. Good. Scarlett Johansson is a Japanese girl. Sorry, a Japanese girl's brain in an English girl's body. Okay?
Well, what? Caucasian.
Well, white girl. Well, yeah. To be pretty correct, a Caucasian body. When did she forget how to speak Japanese?
Good point. Good point.
She's talking to her mother. For some reason, her mother is responding in English, but whatever. She's talking to her mother in English for the whole time. And then I'm like, hold a second. Where are they? What is a Japanese woman, a clearly native Japanese woman speaking English? And her daughter, for the entirety of the movie, never spoke Japanese at any point in time. Not even once. Not even like in a passing, some sort of thing.
That is a good point, actually. I didn't think of that. And that whole reveal did not make the whitewashing controversy any better. Not that I particularly care about the whitewashing controversy or anything, but they didn't make it any better for themselves by including a plot point that she used to be a Japanese woman whose brain was taken out of her body and put into a Caucasian-looking cybernetic form.
Not only that, but the main villain, well, he wasn't actually the main villain, but the original villain in this movie, he as well was Japanese, and he got taken out of a Japanese body and put in a Caucasian male. Well, sort of Caucasian male. He needed a bit of work then, but other than that, so it was like, then what? That is exactly my point. If you're gonna argue that if you casted a Japanese/Asian cast, no one would have seen the movie, so you had to put in English speakers in the movie. Why is it that you're doing all this to like, yeah, but you know, this still sort of Japanese?
If you're don't do it halfway. If you're gonna make everyone a Westerner, then make all the story elements like that Western. Why did Scarlett Johansson, why did the Major have to be originally Japanese? Why couldn't she have been originally Caucasian? Why couldn't Kuze been originally Caucasian? They do not
care about the source material. They just care about making money. It's that simple. The reason I say this is because there are a lot of scenes in this movie that were taken straight from the original movie, right? A lot of scenes, which is cool. But those scenes are like scattered throughout this movie in such a way that it's like they're not connected. It's just there for fan service. So like the scene with her like funny coming to life, straight from the movie. The scene where she wakes up and like she's like by that big window and you can like see the city from the window and stuff. That came straight from the original movie. But they're not connected. They don't flow the same way how they flowed in the original movie. So it's just fan service. A lot of people like the last battle because that is pretty much what happened in the original movie. I didn't like it. It felt very random to me.
I didn't think it was random. It just wasn't. The climax wasn't very climactic. It was like I said, this thing was like a straight line the whole way through. It didn't feel like a high point. It kind of was there, and then it happened, and then it was over, and then the movie wrapped up, and then it was done.
And if you add in the fact that this movie was pretty short to begin with, because I remember when we went to this movie and we came out, I was like, it's okay, I guess it is done.
Like, it started at 9 o'clock and it finished before 11. It finished at like 10:40.
Yes, and that included adverts, obviously, before the movie, trailers, all that sort of jazz, including the ending credits. So the movie is pretty short. Well, that's all. Oh yeah, the villain. We didn't talk about two villains. The first villain, he was nice, he was awesome. I loved his voice, I loved the way he walked, loved what he did to the Major. He was cool. The second villain, he could have been picked up off the street. I would not have known. He was terrible. He was like those like old twirling mustache villains you would find in cartoons. That's pretty much what he was. He wasn't menacing. I didn't care about him. Like he could have died or lived. I did not care. That is to be quite honest. I did not care about him at all. I knew he was I knew he was a villain from the beginning. So I was like, whatever. Not surprised.
Oh yeah, and that's true. Like the fact that the part in the film about well, they kind of hint at it very, very strongly in the trailers that the story she's been fed about where she came from was a lie. So that part wasn't a surprise either. But the part about Kuze being one of many fully cybernetic people that Hanka created, that was kept out of the trailers.
Yeah.
They didn't hint at that at all in the trailers, which makes me think that her not actually being the first of her kind was supposed to be a plot twist. It was supposed to be a surprise, but it wasn't, because you knew that was gonna happen from like the very beginning.
When it happened, I did not care.
It was because when he revealed it, I was like, when he said it, I was like, but it's supposed to be like some sort of surprise, some sort of plot twist, because they saw that coming like a mile away.
Exactly. So that's basically it. My thoughts on Ghost in the Shell. It was mediocre. What I would say, it was not terrible. It was not Dragon Ball Z Evolution level, the graphics weren't like what is going on the screen. The graphics were great, visuals were great. That's it.
It was. I liked it.
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it
To
to someone who just cares about visuals and action, doesn't really care about films.
But it didn't have that
Who
much
doesn't
action.
really care about film as like an art form or like as something, intelligent. Just wants to see something pretty to pass the time and, go home. Yeah.
I have no one who could recommend this to because it's not filled with action. It's for the action lovers.
I didn't think the action sequences were bad.
There's only like 2
They're
action-
better than Iron Fist.
There's only like that says a lot. There's only like 3 action sequences in this movie, and they're
True.
all short. That's another thing. All these actions were very short. The last fight was very, very short.
Were they actually short, or did they just feel short because this thing moves at like blazing speeds?
Well, probably both. But yeah. So that's my what did you give it again? What was your score?
I think it got a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5, 6 out of 10. That seems about accurate. I would give it that as well.
But like my thing with it, I was expecting, because of the reputation of the original, I was expecting it to have like a theme. And it didn't. It didn't have
It had
theme.
a lot. This movie could have chosen from a lot of themes that were in the original. From
And like,
manga or
if it wanted to
something.
simplify it, just stick with one.
They
and
could
they
have.
didn't.
They could have stuck with like the investigation part of Section 9, and that would have been totally fine with me if they investigated some cybercrime or something along those lines. It would have been perfect because it's still been short. It didn't even need to have any that much action sequences. It could have just been there investigating. But the movie as it is right now, you don't need to watch it. But if you see it on TV and it's showing and obviously it's free or whatever, then you can watch it and see for yourself. But other than that, it doesn't need to be watched.
See it at matinee or special price or something. It's not worth seeing at full price. But I mean, I feel like this film had enough fodder to at least explore the theme of identity through the Mage's character, but it didn't even do that.
Here's one thing that I'm worried about or excited for. The way they ended this movie, which is typical for Hollywood regardless.
Oh, this is totally sounding for a sequel.
It's set up for a sequel. I am praying that if they do get a sequel, which I don't know if they would, but if they do get a sequel, that they will actually change the director, for one. Change whoever wrote this horrible script. And just leave the guy who did the cinematography. I'll leave it at that.
I don't think it was that badly written because
It was too simple.
Well,
From what they had, it was too simple. That's like, once again, Inception, because it's awesome. That's like Inception. If someone took Inception script and just wrote, the guy steals dreams, full stop. And that's what it is. And that's all you have to work with. A guy stealing dreams. You don't know how, you don't know the background behind it. The guy steals dreams. And that's all you have. You'd be like, okay, I guess I kind of like it, probably. But
I guess. But like, back to the whole thing about this thing being absolutely devoid of themes. I'm not saying that films need to have a theme. They need to have a deep philosophical message and like say something. They don't need to. But
you need to have a point.
well, yeah.
But whenever you exit a movie, you must exit knowing what was the point of the movie. Whether
Yeah.
it's good or bad, it must have a point.
Yeah. But very, very early on, and like this was the second sequence? No, the first sequence. After her body was made and completed, they hit you very hard over the head with like introducing this theme of what it means to be human, like the line between human and robot, android, cyborg, whatever it is, considering that she's like fully cybernetic. With this dialogue exchange between the guy that was the main villain and the doctor that looked after her, the doctor said, you're treating a complex human like an object or something along those lines. And he was like, she's not a person, she's a weapon. And then later on, after the geisha house action sequence, after she killed the geisha in the red thing, and she was looking down and she got injured in her arm, and she looked down at the geisha, and she's giving it this look, and Battle is standing next to her. He's like, "You're not the same." They kind of introduce very, very blatantly and obviously, like, in your face, like, you're too dumb to understand that this is the thing that we're trying to introduce here to start with, way of, you know, what does it mean to be human, and then that is it. It never explores
another
that.
thing, not the extent review as too long, but another thing, that whole repairing thing is so much nonsense. Do you know why? Because in the original, she had thousands of bodies. All they need to do was take out her brain and put it in another body. So the two scene of her like repairing her body because she got hurt or whatever is like, well, why would you do that? The body is insignificant. It's the brain that's an important part.
Well, I mean, it was just her arm, so you're not gonna give her a
Yeah,
whole
but
new
then
body
remember when
just
she got...
take off one arm off of one
Do you
body.
remember the explosion that they had and they blew up half her body?
Well, yeah, of course she'll get a new body after that.
But she didn't get a new body. They repaired it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There we go.
That's true.
Once again, I'm right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was disappointed with it because it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I didn't want to watch the original before watching this because I wanted to give this a chance to stand up on its own, and I didn't want to go into it comparing it to the source material.
Okay.
But it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I didn't really have like
Clearly,
high expectations for it, but it was still pretty good.
Okay. Well,
I think
that's what Kia has to say.
it was
pretty
like
good.
it was like middle of the road, mediocre.
It was a middle. It was like in gutter, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah. Okay. The Spider-Man Homecoming trailer that came out. What do you think?
It looked great, as in color wise, as in it looked really, really clean. It looked like, you know, they stepped up a notch when it came to like the visual effects. That's what I like about it. I'm not gonna comment on the storyline because obviously I don't know what the storyline is gonna be.
You don't know what the storyline is going to be after watching this trailer.
I know exactly what it's gonna be. Iron Man's gonna save the day. That's what it's gonna be. That's exactly what it's gonna be.
No, the story is going to be Peter has to prove himself as a hero after screwing the Pooch with that boat accident. And yeah, and then he's gonna get the suit taken away, and then he has to fight the Vulture in his Popdown.
Oh, so
suit.
basically everything that happens like in every Spider-Man original movie.
Yeah, I feel like this trailer gave away too much. We didn't need to know the part about Tony taking away.
But you have to understand that Marvel right now is at a point that they don't care. They know that everything they've sent will make money.
People are gonna watch it anyway.
Plus, it's Spider-Man. It's going to make money even if it's terrible. So, you just
well, the Amazing Spider-Man proved that.
Exactly. So, it just has to be pretty, which it was. Good sound and all that jazz, and you know, it'll sell. It's okay. It didn't make me want to watch it, but I'm sure all the youngins about the place.
I mean, I'm going to watch it. I want to watch it, but like these Spider-Man Homecoming trailers so far have not made me like super excited to see the movie. It's not like something I'm like pumped to watch. I wouldn't mind if I missed it in the cinema and like had to wait until it was on TV.
I think it's because we're tired of seeing Spider-Man origin stories.
Well, this isn't an origin story for him, and it's not really. It's not that. It's just like these trailers are just lacking that something to just make me like really need to absolutely have to see this in cinemas. Like I could wait the like 9 or so months it's gonna take to reach HBO.
Yes, HBO. Let's call it that. But okay, I guess so. It was fine.
Yeah.
All right, next trailer, The Justice League. Screw the Pooch. That is not euphemism I would use on a day-to-day business. I'm just saying. But anyway, Justice League. What did we think about it? Well, I'm gonna talk first. It looked great. Jason Momoa, as usual, to me. I think he's gonna be the best part of this whole movie. No offense to Ben Affleck, but I love Batman already. I don't need to love Batman even more. I give Aquaman some much needed love after years of torment, and you know, being Aquaman.
And screwing the Pooch.
And screwing the Pooch, which will probably be the tagline for this episode. So yeah, it was great. Well, it's okay. Roll back. It was good. I won't say it was great, but it was good. I still don't know what the storyline is about, which is great.
Yes.
Keep it that way, whoever's editing these trailers. Please, I beg you, keep it that way. I don't want to know anything about what's going on.
I think not Jason Momoa. I think Aquaman is basically just going to be who Jason Momoa is IRL, or at least what his public persona is. Just this like, not necessarily like a surfer dude, but he's just like a dude.
Well, he is a dude. So.
Yeah.
What did you think about Flash in the trailer?
Flash?
How do you like his movements?
Well, the CGI on Flash is like so much better than the CGI on him on the TV show.
I don't really say much because
it doesn't really say much because one, the CGI on the TV show is terrible, and they obviously have more budget. I feel like they haven't really shown that much of him for me to like make an opinion about him as the Flash, at least as Barry from the comic.
I think the reason for that is that they're still working on it.
Probably.
It's still processing, so.
Like I liked the personality he showed in the Comic Con trailer. I still prefer the Comic Con trailer to this one. The Comic Con trailer was better to me, and it made me really excited for Justice League, which I wasn't before because it's the DCEU and I've been burned so many times by them that I just lost faith. I
still liked Man of Steel, by the way.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I still like Man of Steel.
But yeah, I prefer the Comic Con trailer. This trailer reminded me of the Suicide Squad trailers in that it was like a lot of pop music.
Well, hopefully the movie doesn't remind me of Suicide Squad movie.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But yeah.
Oh, and the CGI on Cyborg. Oh my gosh, absolutely awful.
I ain't gonna just give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they still work on it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's not finished and it doesn't actually look like that in the film.
Well, to me, it wouldn't be because the movie is going out in November, right? So then it wouldn't be finished now.
Yeah.
Well, finished as in obviously finished filming, but not processing.
Yeah, it's not just.
Yeah.
Like when he's like standing still, he's fine, but when he's moving and especially talking, it's just no, son. You look plastic.
Well, yeah. So I guess we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I think DC is gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna let Marvel do their whole cinematic world building, whatever.
PG-13.
But we're gonna start doing standalone movies because Sirens is being planned, Batgirl is being planned.
Who is being planned?
Batgirl.
Oh, the Sirens.
Sirens, right? Gotham Sirens is being planned. I heard that. Well, but the Batman standalone movie is still being planned, and they're supposed to be doing oh my god, a Shazam standalone movie.
Yeah.
They never mentioned
that forever.
Right, but they never mentioned Shazam being part of Justice League, so I'm guessing this is going to be literally a standalone movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for it.
This has been Popdown Podcast. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.